Welcome back to our home. My name is Ashley,
And I'm Refilwe,
and this is
Home and Heart. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about parenting.
Parenting,
Yeah.
okay?
Which is something that we obviously look forward to,
Yeah.
in the near future or whatever future. Yeah.
Parenting. So we are gonna dive deep, ask each other questions. you
Yeah,
know,
just have a conversation.
have a
with it,
conversation. Yeah. See
On how we
similar, how similar, different.
we are when it comes to parenting,
comes
or
to
how we'd
parenting.
like our parenting skills
Yeah.
to be.
But before we begin, if you're new to our channel,
Welcome.
welcome. Please leave a like, please leave a subscribe, and we hope that you enjoy parenting. Yeah, hey, there's gonna come a time in our lives where our relationship is gonna transition from what it is now
Just you and I.
to somebody else, and
Yeah.
eventually more people in the picture.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it would be interesting, to find out how different or how similar we are in our parenting style.
Or how we think.
About
Yeah.
the
Parent,
topic. Yeah. So I think to guide us, it only makes sense to have questions.
Questions, obviously.
Yeah, so it can guide us in the conversation, but also the video. Yeah. So you wanna start with the first question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you want to have kids, and where is that desire coming from? You go first.
Why do I want to have kids,
Yeah.
and where is the desire coming from? Why do I want to have kids? I think my answer is gonna sound common, generic. I want to have kids because I want to leave a legacy. I want to have kids because I feel like it would be nice to replicate the life that I'm gonna create. Or what for? Okay. Why do I want to have kids? Why do I want to have kids? Because I love family. I love having people around. I want to have kids because I think you and I are gonna make great parents. So I would love to build a family. I think you and I are good partners. So right now I can find so many different reasons as to why I want to have kids. Some of them might not even sound related, but I think I want to have kids because of so many things, so many like little tiny things. It's like I also want to have kids as like an extension of our relationship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because now the kid is gonna grow up in an environment where it's filled with love, and they're gonna get to see what it looks like, to be in a loving relationship, and then hopefully when they grow up, they can emulate what you and I, presented to them from, So I want to have kids, for, I can think of so many other reasons. I think kids are a source of joy. There seems to be laughter everywhere where you find
kids.
like toddlers. There's laughter, there's joy. So I want to have kids because I want to sort of invite that positivity in our lives, in my life as an individual before in this relationship, but now invited in our lives, because I think it's gonna, what kids are gonna kind of like be a catalyst, to our lives, and how they're gonna be an addition to our blessings, rather. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a loaded answer. It's like a loaded answer, but yeah.
I never saw it that way until you actually mentioned it. I never saw it that way. I mean, for me, I never wanted to have kids. I've told you this before,
Yeah,
right? I never wanted to have kids. I never saw myself being in a relationship. I never saw myself, having all these things. I never saw myself being the not common, but like the, being in a relationship, building a family, and, I never saw myself doing that. Until obviously I met you. I want to have a family. I want to build with you. I want to have a family with you. But if, God forbid, anything was to happen, I don't think I would see myself in that position again. So you kind of planted that.
Okay.
So if it's taken away, then I don't think I would see myself in that position. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
But you obviously with your answer, it's like I never saw it that way. I mean, I also find kids very not awkward, but like chababana.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So it's like, do I really want to have kids? Because I'm a child, you know, and it has
You're
nothing.
afraid of what? Of like being a parent to the kid, or like what is it that you're afraid of?
Just kids in general.
Yeah, like you have like a phobia of kids.
Yeah, and not that I'm afraid of them. It's just I just never know what to do around a baby or around a toddler. I just, you know, I just don't know what to do. So I never saw myself being a parent to even one.
Yeah. So now, do you feel like, say in the next couple of years, do you think you and I are gonna be able to pull off being parents? Because now you hear where my desire comes from, and then yours, you know, seems like it's fairly new. You know, so do you think you'd be able to handle the task of being a mother?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's a task. It's more of, and like it comes natural. You know, I mean, you see how different kids are raised. You know, especially now because we have social media. You know, you see how this mother raises her daughter, or this mother raises her son. You know, and they obviously bahudiswa differently. You know, and it's beautiful to watch. You know, I just don't know how I'm gonna be towards my kids, but I can try. You know, I can only try, or I can only be the best that I can be. 100%. You know, so I mean, I'm willing. Eventually, I will.
Yeah, it's gonna be an adventure. It's gonna be a crazy adventure. What do you think it will be like to have kids?
As you said, I feel like it's gonna bring joy. It's gonna bring a whole lot of change in a person. You know, I don't think I'm gonna be the same person. I'm not gonna be the same bubbly, crazy. I mean, no, not that it's gonna completely change my personality, but it's not gonna be. I won't be. If I'm known as Urifule the groovist, you know, always out partying and all of that, there's gonna be certain things I'm gonna have to sacrifice because now I have somebody looking up to me. You know. Yes, but I'm not a groovist. I'm just saying, if I were to be one, or if I was.
Yeah. So you think your sense of responsibility has changed?
It's gonna be it's gonna change definitely.
How I think it will be like to have kids, fun. I think I already said, you know, fun. They're gonna be like a source of joy and entertainment, but also it's gonna be challenging.
It is.
Yeah, because now it's like we've never had kids before. We've never been parents before, and we are on the verge of starting our own businesses, and then if God, you know, decides to bless us with, you know, a son or a daughter, I think it will be challenging because now a person has to kind of like juggle their life, you know, around. I don't want to say juggle around your kid, but it's like how your kid is now a reality in your life. You have to set up your career, your social time, you know, set it up in a way that, you know, it's gonna be different. You know, it's gonna be different. Yeah, you're gonna have to like learn how to maneuver now, because
and also you don't want to be that parent that leaves. I don't blame the parents that do leave their kids with their grandparents so they can fulfill their lives. I mean, it can get challenging, but I don't think they do it willingly. They're probably doing it for the best of their kid. You know.
100%.
Yeah. So we don't want to be those parents that leave their kids to their grandparents and then fulfill our dreams only to come back, you know, missing out on so much growth.
For me, I would love to structure our lives in a way that our kids are inclusive, you know, whether career or our social life, our social public life. I want our kids to be inclusive, because I don't want to build a life somewhere else and then have to come back home to a kid that has no idea what life the parent lives. You know, so if the kid is, you know, always gonna be with us, whether you going to your business, I'm going to my business, meetings, whatever, you know, so that so that the kid becomes exposed to, okay, this is how it is in my family. You know, so I think that would be a crazy time in our lives.
And I feel like also it's also gonna expose, like, you know, when, you know, like you like I don't know how to put this, but you would probably, when you have your own kid, you'd be like, okay, I understand why my dad treated us like this.
Okay.
You know, so it's gonna expose so much, you know, because now you are in those shoes.
Now you understand.
Yeah. So it's gonna expose why did my mom actually leave me with my grandmother, or why did my mom do 1, 2, 3, or why was my mom never there for me? You know.
Because I think the typical South African can relate to being raised by
grandmother.
while their parents work 30 kilometers away from where they live, and then having to see their parents for like maybe 2 to 4 hours a day, because you sleep half the time, you wake up, your parents go to work, you know, for however, you know, 8 hours or whatever, and then they have to spend maybe 2 hours in traffic on the way back home. By the time they get home, your mom is tired, you know, she cooks, and you know, so I think a lot of, you know, South African families can resonate. So I just wanna, you know, structure our lives in a way that our daughter or son doesn't, you know, get to experience such a, because for me it feels like I was kind of like deprived from spending quality time with my parents.
Definitely.
Just because they worked so far away from where we live, and you know, having to be raised by my grandparents, whatever. So now I want our daughter or son to not experience that, you know, to experience the opposite. You know, hey, I've had so much time, you know, with my parents, and you know, like they know me as much as I know them, type of relationship, you know.
I get it.
Yeah. So yeah.
What should our kids' relationship be with technology?
Technology. Technology is a very powerful tool.
It is.
And I think right now in 2022, it's close to impossible for us to comprehend the power or the growth of technology in the next 5-10 years. Yeah. So we can get, like, I can give an answer now, and then in 5 years time when I look back to the answer, it might not even be like 1% of the reality
that we will be
living in. Yeah. So I just want to be on the good side of it and say it's a tool, and everybody should use it to its limit. You know, if you have a social following, Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform, capitalize it and stick to it. So the very same thing that I'm saying right now, I'd say to my kids that, yo, if ever, let's say they reach the age of 8, 9, and then they have a skill, like a talent, something that they are passionate, you know, and they enjoy doing, and like maybe they're really creative at it, I'd say that they should
exposure.
Yeah, you know, they should create a platform where they're going to be able to showcase the skill, talent, you know, to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because I think technology is a very powerful tool. And
it is, actually.
Yeah, because now it's like you know, we are building lives on it.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Because we went from advertising on TV, knowing, all these famous KFC adverts, you know, to influencers advertising for us on social media.
Yeah, so everything kind of like...
it changed. And also we used to have castings on stages and all of that. Now all you have to do is just record a monologue, post it on social media, and you don't know who's watching, you know, and next thing you got your first gig. So maybe not only social media, but like with technology, like there's so many crazy things out there, you know.
Inventions. It's ridiculous. Even AI and smart home systems, where you end time and the lights go on.
And it's probably by the next like maybe 20-30 years, it's gonna sound crazy to our kids, but oh no, the light switch was over there.
Over there, and you have to walk.
You know.
Yeah, it's crazy because I always, you know how I always say that it would be nice to have seen a vlog that was shot by my grandparents back in the years. So I think even us doing this now, by the time we have kids and then maybe they are 10-15 years old, they're gonna look at this and like, not understand, because for them technology is gonna be, you know, so expensive. Now it's just we've scratched the tip of the iceberg. You know, we haven't. I know that there's been like a huge advance in the past 10 years, but what's coming in the next 10 years, it's even 100 times more. You know, so it's. I just hope that they are. Because I mean, they're going to teach us things that we wouldn't know, got the technology, the same way we teach our parents
About
Yeah, so they're gonna grow up and teach us, oh, this is how you do this and how you do that.
Definitely.
Yeah, they might go into coding and all these.
So they
crazy-
should. I feel like they should. My kids, I'd like my kids to be exposed.
Hey, what do you mean yours? Not ours.
Our kids.
Ah,
Sorry, baby.
broke my heart.
Sorry, but like I would like our kids to be like very much exposed to technology as much as they could.
Mm.
You know, obviously, you said monitor. What is it? Monitor.
Mm.
Yeah, like have time for socializing and have time
Yeah,
you know,
moderation.
yeah,
Everything.
moderation,
Yeah. Everything should be in moderation. Yeah, they shouldn't be like 100% geeks. Yeah. What counts as spoiling our kids? Hey man,
What
Hey.
counts as spoiling?
were you spoiled as a kid?
No,
But are
I've-
you familiar with like
with
being
being
spoiled?
spoiled. no.
Yeah. So your answer's gonna
no,
be like
no. I feel like
one-sided,
no. It's
prejudice,
I don't
not
know.
prejudice, but
What?
bias. What am I saying?
Hey, baby, I'm trying to talk.
Sorry.
I don't know what would count as spoiling because any parent out there would want to do everything for their kids. You know, like I'd want to buy my kid a car at the age of 16. Like, you know, I'd want to, you know, and obviously, malapa alekane and somebody else would look at it, oh, Obama spoiler, you know? But you know that is a stepping stone into making her life easier, you know, because we went years without cars, you know, like, so it's like, I'm trying to make her life easier. So I don't think, for me, I don't think there isn't anything that I wouldn't do for my child, you know?
Brenda's mom said something. You know, similar. She might be watching this. She said something similar. The time you went to France and then I had to go to Binoni.
Okay.
She said something similar that a lot of African homes look at it as spoiling if you buy a 16-year-old car, spoiling. She said if you look at it as how did she put it? That you are. I know it in Venek.
Yes, I
You
am,
know,
but I can
yeah, people.
There's subtitles that you can edit.
Yeah, it's like Omafulela span. Because if it was gonna take me say 10 years to buy a car on my own, and then you buy me a car as a parent at 16, and then now I don't have to work, you know, the 10 years just to buy a car, I can dedicate that time, you know, towards maybe buying a house or something else, because you already bought me a car, and now I don't have to put in as much work, you know. So I also don't want to look at it as spoiling. Spoiling is like,
but also with making them realize, like, I mean, umtana who's not disciplined, you know, buy her a car this year and then she crashes and then expect you to buy her another one next year. You know, now that's getting out of the way. But teaching them responsibility too, you know, like who's gonna wash your car if you don't?
There has to be like boundaries you know, put in place. That as much as we're gonna buy you things, you know, to help you out, but also you shouldn't get carried away and think that you know you can just get anything willy-nilly.
My mom can do it.
Yeah.
My dad will do it. What would you want to do differently than your parents?
Damn. What would I want to do differently than my parents? Some people might know, some might not, that I'm a product of divorce. My parents divorced when I was like 7, 8. Yeah, so that's the first thing that I wouldn't want to do. Yeah. As a kid, man, it's like a part of me doesn't understand what's going on, but another part that's like the intellectual part of you kind of sees that something is different. Things are not the same anymore. So I wouldn't want to put our son or daughter or children, you know, through that, because they are very traumatic, you know. That's one of the things that I wouldn't want to, you know, that's one of the things that my parents did that I wouldn't want to repeat in our life as a family.
Right. I was brought up fine. Like, it was, I have, like, you know, I was brought up okay, both my parents are in the picture, which I'm so grateful for. They stood together. You know, my dad was doing all that he can to provide for the family. My mom was there for all of us, you know. But what I would want to do different is not be a typical black parent. You know how society paints a black mom or a black parent. You know, which my parents were. You know, my mom she wasn't strict, but she was her words were very harsh, you know. I don't want to do that to my kids, because what it did to me, and I love my mom. Like, now we have a very beautiful relationship now, you know. But obviously growing up, it was very hard for me to open up to her, because I knew the first thing that she would do is shout or say something painful, you know. So I don't want to put my kids through it. Yeah, because I really want them to be open with me, you know. I think that's the only thing. Also, I want my kids to be brought up in a very loving home, you know. My mom was never the one to say I love you. She says I love you a lot now, but back then it wasn't a norm, you know. Now it feels uncomfortable, like I love you, and I'm like, I love you too, you know. Because it's not what I was used to, you know. It feels very different.
What about your dad?
My dad has never said I love you.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think okay, sorry.
So no, it's fine. Like you know. So I'd want my kids to grow up in a very affectionate, intimate environment.
Yeah. I for one, I don't think I've ever heard my dad, you know, say the 3 magic words, right? So obviously, you know, when I walk into parenthood, that's one of the things that I'm gonna, you know, have to learn to do, because it's so far away from me. I've never, you know, so now I'm gonna have to now say, hey man.
Yeah, even the thought of it, like right now I'm thinking about myself telling my daughter or my son that I love you. It feels weird. It's like, but I really want to do it. I really want it to be something that my kids are exposed to, you know. But the thought of it is also kind of like really hard, because it's something that I'm not used to. You know? Yeah, but my little brother is, because now my mom is very, very affectionate. You know, I don't know, maybe her life changed in some sort. You know, maybe back then she was going through something, which I don't blame her, but. You know, you see her relationship with my little brother. They tell each other that they love each other. My little brother hugs everybody. My little brother hugs me, which is very weird. You know, I don't hug my brothers, my older brothers, you know, because it was never a thing to us, you know. So now my little brother grew up in a very affectionate home, because now they're grown and, I don't know, maybe they have more time for him, or they're showing more affection to him. So he's like a very completely different personality from us, you know. He shows more affection than we do, you know. So it's easy for him to say I love you to me, to my mom, it's, you know. But for me, it's like I would never say I love you to my mom. I love her so much, but I wouldn't say I love you to her. She has to say it first for me to be like, I love you too.
Damn. Yeah, so hey man, but I mean, I wanna, you know, include the fact that my parents were born in the 60s, you know, so they were raised in a different kind of world than we're living in right now. And the pressures that they had, you know, for us, we can't even comprehend what they were going through and what it took to be a parent, right? So imagine now the world is on your shoulders. It's like when you come home, you kind of like bring it home. They were kind of like bringing it home, you know, so it was hard for them to even maybe make time for affection and all that, or maybe even the language of, hey, you need to be affectionate. Maybe for them was like the furthest thing away, you know, because they were, you know, what? They were, when they were in their prime, it was apartheid and whatever. So you can imagine the kind of world they were living in, you know. So maybe it's easy for us, you know, to have the language and the words and the dialogue now, but for them, you know, it was.
But also looking back now, you understand, or maybe you see their I love yous, like you look back and you look back and you're like, okay, that was her trying to tell me that she loves me, but not verbally, you know. But you only understand it now is when you've grown up.
I've received a lot of I love yous from my dad, that when you mention it now, I can like think of like 2 or 3 moments when he was like, okay, yeah, maybe this was his way of letting you know, you know? Yeah. What do you want to replicate from your upbringing? What do you want to replicate from your upbringing? Ooh. Hey, me! I want to what I want to replicate. My dad used to change BMWs every 4 months ish. Sometimes maybe 6 months, but like maybe average every 4 or 5 months. He'd come with a different BMW every time, you know, because of his work and you know. So I think something that I want to replicate is our son or daughter. You know, I want them to grow up, you know, in a household where their father, which is gonna be me, you know, is a lover. No, he's a lover of BMW. You know, and this, you know, passionate driver. But yeah, can I think of anything, you know, significant that I would want to replicate from my childhood? You wanna?
I don't know, but I want to be like a present parent. Like my parents were very present in my life, you know. Obviously in their way, you know, maybe not the way that I would have loved, but in their way. They were very present. They were there, you know. My parents made sure when I had a concert, they would be there. You know, when I had to go kai, they would make sure that I'm not that one child that isn't going, you know. So I also want to be, that's one thing that I want to take with from my upbringing.
And what are you willing to change or give up for your kids?
Nothing.
Change or give up?
I'm not a very open person, you know. I'm not so open about my feelings and all that, which is something that I'm already working towards, you know, working on. So maybe for me to achieve this parent that is emotionally available, so I need to work harder on that, maybe for my kids, so that they can also feel the comfort, you know, to be open with me. So maybe that's what I'm willing to change.
I think what I'm willing to change is my discipline. I know that I have periods in my life where I'm very disciplined, and I stick through. You know, if I set a goal, I know that, you know, there are times in my life where I can be very consistent, but also there are times when I'm not, you know. So I think one thing that I would like to change is how easy it is, you know, for me to fall out of discipline, fall out of line. You know, I want to change it. I want to be more strict towards myself, and my disciplines. You know,
obviously they're gonna have to learn from you.
Exactly. See
this pattern from you.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want to advise them, but I do the exact opposite. Yeah. So I know that even when son or daughter is still very much young, you know, I'm gonna have to, you know, form all these habits early on, you know, so that they kind of like become my lifestyle. Right. So you know, so that when it's time for the son or daughter, you know, to emulate from me, it's like, you know, it's like they emulate from a person who's disciplined, rather than someone who's inconsistent. And then, you know, because I know that sometimes, like right now, I have tendencies, you know, to be inconsistent sometimes. And I think the inconsistency can be seen in the way we post our YouTube. But after this episode, I think it's safe to say that you and I are gonna be doing this more often.
We always say that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully this time we will be able to.
We will be.
But one of the reasons, like, we had so many things happen. I mean, 2022 wasn't a good year for everybody, you know. So yeah, it's just
it's not
things
that
were coming in the way.
Yeah, it's not that we don't want to. We want to so much.
Bad, so
but
much,
hey, man, life is lifing, and especially these past couple of weeks, months. Yeah, so that's why you guys see one video today, another video after a week, after 2 weeks, is because our schedules are so tight. But hopefully, you know, with God's grace, we'll be able to, you know, to find a way or make a way
to be consistent,
to be more consistent. To give you guys, you know, more videos, because it kind of it's like an activity for us, you know, to learn about each other, because they don't know like maybe
Yeah,
90% of the
yeah,
answers.
definitely.
Yeah, you know, so if you guys like what you and I are, like what we are doing, please leave a subscribe. Please do come back, and please do leave a like. This was a pretty fun episode.
Yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed learning you, like, not publicly. Obviously, there are certain things that I learned outside of, you know, certain things that I knew already that you answered, you know, but there were things that I was like, oh, okay, I didn't see it that way. You know, I didn't, you know, so I enjoy, it's like we're sharing our
pieces of ourselves,
that to the public and to each other, you know, so
and most often than not, it's new things. Sometimes it's like I knew about what you were about to say, and then now you just, you know, elaborating it further. Sometimes like completely new, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is how, you know, so if you guys enjoy what we're doing, welcome to the family, and see you next time.